Welcome to the Big Cat Lounge podcast. I'm your host, Big Cat KZ. Thank you so much for listening in. The Big Cat Lounge is where we interview guests in a casual lounge setting from all over the world. We are on the way to achieving Big Cat International status. New episodes are dropped weekly on all places you listen to podcasts. Please rate and subscribe to help us grow. Welcome to the Big Cat Lounge podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Big Cat KZ, and today's guest comes from Bulgaria, where she is the founder and CEO of Shimani Smart Skincare. Shimani products will help you to have smooth and beautiful skin without wrinkles. The innovative skincare has received 3 awards for innovation for its award-winning violet cream. We welcome Stacy Pavlova to the Big Cat Lounge podcast.
Thank you, Kyle. Thank you so much for having me and for this kind invitation.
Oh, thank you so much for coming on the show. So tell us how you got started and how you came up with the name Shimani.
Well, it's a very, very interesting story. I have been working in the pharmaceutical and cosmetic industry for more than 16 years. And after 16 years, although I have been an employer, I have always acted like an entrepreneur. And after 16 years, I decided it was time to start my own business and to make my own brand, because I have built up so much experience and knowledge in the cosmetic sphere. So I established my brand, and the interesting thing is that I started hand with COVID. I registered my brand on March 25th, and nobody had an idea what will happen. Another thing what inspired me, that my previous job was mainly working with the Asian and African markets, and mainly in Ethiopia. And I saw how from one of the poorest countries in Africa, this country is on the way to become one of the leading economic forces on the African continent. And really, I saw amazing things. And also when traveling to Ethiopia, I got local knowledge about different oils. For example, Ethiopia is one of the main exporters of frankincense, and frankincense oil is very good for wrinkles. It smooths out wrinkles. So these were the factors that made me start my own company, and the name Shimani, it's also a very interesting story. In fact, nowadays, in order to get catchy brand name is very difficult, because every day, only in the European Union, between 400 and 450 names are registered. So all the fancy names which came to my mind have been already registered, busy. All the people around me, all my friends have been thinking about a good name, but all the good names we were thinking of have been already busy. And I will not forget, one night I was totally desperate. I was alone in the office when I remembered a stunningly beautiful woman I met in Sri Lanka. Imagine like Ashwarya Rai, something like her. And she was called Shimani. I immediately checked in the European portal, the name was not busy, and here is how the name Shimani, I got the name Shimani of my brand. Later on, I asked my friends in Sri Lanka, what does this name mean? And they told me it means shining diamonds.
It's so beautiful, yeah. Truly. Did you know much about starting a business before you ventured in to go into, creating your own brand?
As I mentioned, I was employer in my previous job, but I have always acted as an entrepreneur, developing new markets, new business. So being an entrepreneur, it should be in your blood, constantly trying to do new things, develop new projects, new markets, new clients. Basically, you need to act With some things you fail, with some things you succeed. But if you fail, this does not need to make you desperate. So you need to stand up and continue again. And you need to be really resilient and resistant.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I like being an entrepreneur means that you need to believe when you will jump that you will fly.
It's really unique, like how you are able to come up with new products, right? Because you've launched so many right now, and just being able to continue to enhance and really make your brand, stand out as one of the top luxury cosmetic brands in the EU and worldwide.
Yes, so when you start with a product, it's very, nowadays our industry is so competitive. The market is flooded with all kinds of cosmetic ingredients and products. It's very important to find a product with which you can distinguish. A very interesting product, and I'm very grateful that I met these two Bulgarian scientists who developed the formula of the violet cream. The interesting fact about our violet cream is that the color is naturally achieved. There are no artificial colors inside. It's achieved due to the mix of the ingredients and the special technology of preparation.
That is truly amazing. And I'm sure
Yeah.
it's very difficult to make sure your products are 100% natural, but you're able to go through that process just to ensure that your clients have, the quality there, because there's a lot of products that you get that have, you know, silicones or parabens and other GMO and things that you shouldn't be having.
Yes, definitely. In fact, we have two series. One is 100% natural, and the other one is not natural, but it doesn't contain any harmful ingredients. Yes, like parabens, silicones, artificial colors. Yes.
Yeah, it's truly important just to have those options. And so tell me, you're able to launch your brand, and you have quite a extensive team, right? You have a creative director, a key account manager, business development, and marketing manager. So it's really unique for you to get in every
In
day.
fact,
Today's sponsor is Anchor FM app. Go download the free Anchor app today to get started. You can find it at your Play Store or App Store. It's everything you need to make a podcast, and it distributes everything for you so it can be heard on multiple platforms such as Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts, and many more. This is what I'm currently using right now to edit and record my podcast, and you can do so from your phone or computer. And the tools are really easy to use to help document the Big Cat Lounge journey. So what are you waiting for? Go today and download it.
in fact, all these activities are performed by me because I'm a very small company. I'm a startup. There we are only two people in the office, and everything else is outsourced. We have a marketing agency for our marketing activities. A social media agency for our social media because we are very, very active. And now in Bulgaria, everybody knows about Shimani, even the small kids. I'm outsourcing everything possible because I'm a small company, I'm a startup, and it's not possible to have a big team. But when you start, yes, and when you're entrepreneur, especially in this early stage, you need to wear several hats. You need to make some kind of marketing, management, accounting, statistics. You need to be everything. But this is normal until your business grows and until you're able to hire more staff and more people. I'm not a supporter of sudden growth because you can, after a sudden growth and quick growth, you can collapse. But if you do things step by step, it's much more sustainable.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. It truly is. And just you being able to just continue to to grasp more knowledge, because every day there's so much to learn. Even this industry, just in general, being an entrepreneur, just to keep up with new tools to enhance your day and make sure you're as productive as you can be, because there's only so much time, and to wear all those hats can be overwhelming. So just to make sure you're the most efficient where you can be.
Yes, it's really overwhelming, but when you work for yourself, the energy is totally on a different level. I reached a stage where I didn't want anybody to tell me what to do, how to do it. Now I'm my own boss. I take my own decisions. It's not easy at all, because every month you need to think how you cover your expenses. You need to think of the strategy, to change the strategy all the time. It's really very difficult, but it's the energy level on which you do it. When you work for yourself, it's totally different.
Mm-hmm. It really is, yeah. This brings us to our quote section. Average people use the weekends to escape the life they have. Successful people use the weekends to create the life they want. And this comes from Matt Ronachnik. So yeah, that's just, again, like you know, being an entrepreneur, you're never gonna, you know, it's your time. So you're the one who has to use that time to continue to make the business succeed, or it's up to you. You can relax as well, but it's your time, and it's how you use it.
Yes, many people imagine being an entrepreneur like lying on the white sands and having a great team of people doing all the job, but it's not like this. In fact, at this early stage, I often work sometimes also Saturdays, and Sunday is my only day off. But even during Sunday, I think of some strategies for the business, how to develop it, on which direction, what new products to develop. So it's constantly thinking, changing, acting. This is the way to succeed. Of course, you need to be careful not to reach burnout, because during my corporate career, I reached burnout several times, and you need to know where to stop and how to take rest. For example, if you see and if you feel you're close to burnout, just take a long weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, go among the nature. Do not think of anything else. Switch off your phone. You really need to monitor yourself and your body, the signals your body is giving you, and in order not to reach a burnout.
Yeah, I think a lot of us just need to, you know, have a mental reset, or just be dedicated to have blocks where it's just disconnecting from technology or disconnecting from work, so that you can, you know, realign your focus. Because yeah, there's just so much that occurs on a given day.
Yes, yes. So we need to find the activities and which make us just disconnect. Yes, because we are not robots. And when you, for example, my best way to disconnect is to go among nature with my family, and really far away from the big city, because I live in Sofia. Sofia is the capital of Bulgaria. There are 2.5 million people there. And what makes me relax and recharge is nature. We have a wonderful nature in Bulgaria. We have the Black Sea. Now is summertime. The sea is only 6 hours driving, and we have wonderful mountains where you can ski in the winter, like Bansku Resort, which is world famous. So our country is really rich in nature, and this is what makes me recharge the most.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, and I hear Bulgaria is like one of the safest countries in the EU. So yeah, I've never been able to go out there, but I would love to explore if I get the opportunity. Would you say by you going into nature, you're able to come up with new products, or how do you get your creative your creative side to things. Is there any specific thing that helps you with inspiration?
Well, it's interesting, but the ideas come to my head where I'm usually alone and I'm walking. It can be even walking down the street because I don't have the time to do sports, to do any sports, but I like walking along the streets. And this is when my mind is free. And when I'm walking, the best ideas occur. So I just stop and make notes in my phone, because if I don't make the notes right away, I'll forget it. So like this, my phone is full of ideas, of notes, and when I decide on a new product, I just go through my notes. And very interesting how I made decision on the new one of our newest product is I myself had an awful hair loss, and they say that hair loss is like a post effect of COVID. And because I went through COVID, I really had an awful hair loss. Nothing helped. I was terrified. And I asked our formulator, please make me something urgent, something natural. And she made me a special oil made of 10 oils. Later on, I read about oils. I wanted to add black cumin oil because I read that it's very good for anti-hair loss. So we added two more oils, and now our hair oil has 12 different oils, and the effect is wow. First, I tried it on myself. For 3 months, the hair loss totally stopped. And this product is so good that I'm going to market it under Shimani name. So this is how very often I decide on new products. It's a product that I need myself, but I cannot find on the market. For example, this hair oil, I couldn't find totally natural hair oil containing the blend of oils I wanted. And our chemist is really very good. She made it right away, and the result is perfect.
This brings us to our fun fact section. Though you can't see it happening, every minute of the day we lose about 30,000 to 40,000 dead skin cells off the surface of our skin. So just in the time it took you to read this far, you probably lost about 40,000 cells.
Wow, I didn't know this.
So that's about 9 pounds or 4 kilograms of cells every year. I see that you're also able to donate $1 from every sale of your product to the foundation of the National Park and Rescue.
Yes, in fact, this is for our international sales, and we didn't start them yet. But here in Bulgaria, we're supporting a children's foundation against children's abandonment, because unfortunately many families abandon their children due to different facts. For example, poverty, or the kids are born with some disability. And this foundation helps the family not to abandon their kids. They help them financially, sometimes with they work with psychologists. Yes, we support this foundation in Bulgaria. With every purchased product, we donate to them. And I think while the ultimate cost of every business needs to be profit, but also every business needs to do something good for the society, because if kids are grown up with love in the family, they will grow up as loving adults, and this will contribute to our whole society. So this really motivates me, is one of the things that motivates me, that with my business I can support such a good cause. And when we start our international business, yes, we will support the foundation for animals in Africa, because I was traveling in Africa so often, and really wildlife is disappearing so fast that it's really scaring. If we don't take urgent measures, within 100 years there will be no rhinoceroses, no elephants, no gorillas. It's really, the statistic is really scary. So when we start our international selling, I want to support this foundation because they're really doing a great job. Before supporting any foundation, I'm making a research about this foundation, and when I'm convinced that it's really they're doing a good job, they have results, so then we're supporting them.
What market region do you guys think would be the biggest mover for you and your company? Like, have you noticed during COVID or during these times that a certain area you've gotten more traffic or more people have been buying from, or I guess what's your growth looking like?
My aim is to make Shimani a global brand because the product has all the qualities to become so. And I have 103 target markets, but of course I know that it's not achievable at once. It needs to be step by step. The growth needs to be step by step, as I mentioned. And yes, everybody wants to be in the USA, in China, but these are very competitive markets, crowded. And now we're looking for opportunities, for example, in Africa, because Africa is a very underestimated market. However, for example, in Nigeria, the most expensive brands are sold very successfully. There is lots of potential in Africa. Of course, some markets are not that developed yet, but they're very good for mass market products. In my previous jobs, we sold container volumes of cosmetic products, both mass market and professional in Africa. So I see the opportunity in this continent is huge. Of course, it's important to find the right partner because it's difficult, like everywhere, like in personal life. The most important thing is to find the right partner. There are some challenges in certain markets. For example, in Ethiopia, the import duty is rather high. Only on import you pay, with all the taxes, import duties, charges, you pay like 70%. And this really piles up on the cost of the goods. This is why in Ethiopia they opened many factories. They start their own production because they will satisfy the local market, which is already like 108 million people. And the other challenge with Ethiopia is that they don't have foreign currency. There is a shortage of foreign currency. So if you're want to import goods in Ethiopia, you need to apply with your pro forma invoice. Then the local distributor needs to wait for 6 months from the bank to give him the local currency, and the process is really very slow, but the market is huge, really. So if you find the right partner who knows how to operate, you can do lots of business in Ethiopia. And I see that there are lots of brands now going into the market.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it makes sense for you to just focus on areas that you know you'd be most successful in. You wouldn't want to go into a new market such as China or the US, because then it costs quite a lot just to upfront, just to even start competing with all the competitors and
Yes,
get your
yes.
name out there.
Yes, you cannot compete with big companies with big budgets. So you need to find alternative ways, alternative markets which are not that crowded yet. You need to think outside of the box and find constantly new ways to approach clients. So it's a constant, ongoing process. Yes.
Mm-hmm. What's really great is I see you have tremendous amount of testimonials and feedback, which is really amazing, because a lot of clients typically aren't willing to, you know, share their stories, and it can be difficult to really get people to leave a review or even provide some form of comment.
Yes, yes, and you need to really to ask your clients, for example, what we do sometimes with the order, we send them a little message. We'll be grateful if you leave us a review, because people are we live hectic life, and even if I'm in love with some products, maybe I'll not have the time to leave a positive review. So sometimes we call our clients to see how was the products. and if they can leave a review, because at the beginning of each business it's very important, people to see what other people think of your products, and uh, to get more information.
If you could go back to when you were 18 years old, now that you have all this knowledge and insight, what's some advice you'd tell yourself?
Well, it's a very interesting question. Maybe, for example, I'll tell myself not to stay such a long in one company. I stayed in a company for 16 years, which was really too long. I developed quite a big part of their business, and um, now if I were me now, I would try more different options, different companies. But of course, you should not regret anything, because each of us needs to go our own path. And nobody knows, if you change something in your life, it will be for the better or not. So what I'm thinking is that I'm just looking forward. I don't look back. I gathered enough experience, knowledge, contacts, and what I can do is to continue to walk my path, to develop my brand. And the feeling is really fulfilling. I like what I'm doing. So nobody knows, if I change something in the past, if it will be for the better or not.
Also on a YouTube journey as well. You have a YouTube channel where you're providing so many different tips. I know you had a segment on 12 brand building tips for the community. Tell me a little bit more about what you have in store for the channel.
Yes, in fact, we are so active on the social media. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. This last week I also started TikTok,
Oh, wow.
and yes, I like it really very much, because each social media channel gives you its own audience, and people notice you, people notice your brand. I like to share my experience and knowledge with lots of people, because I believe like this I'll help them, like many people helped me with their knowledge and experience. So we don't have to keep the knowledge in ourselves. We need to share it with others, because this is how we will all progress. So yes, in my YouTube channel, I'll give different beauty and business advice, and I hope it will be helpful for the people. And this is how more people will learn about me and my brand, because for a small company like me, which doesn't have the budgets of the huge multinational companies, this is like a free way people to notice you and your brand.
Yeah, it really is. Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you coming on the Big Cat Lounge podcast.
Thank you, Kyle, so much for this invitation. It was a real pleasure, and greetings to all our listeners. What I would say to them is to follow bravely their dreams, because if we want something very much, it will definitely come true.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for listening all the way to the end, or if you skip through, much appreciated as well. If you know someone from any of the countries that we haven't captured yet on the Big Cat Lounge podcast, please ask them to send us an email at bigcatlounge@gmail.com. Big Cat KZ out.